this is huge. This can't be overstated, guys. Like, this is massive, okay? So I haven't seen it yet. But Trump just almost got assassinated, right? This is crazy. It's genuinely crazy. And I sit here, right? This is now my nerd channel. I used to play some Kitsune or whatever, right? But I'm actually working on setting up a new channel. We'll be talking more about politics and philosophy and so on. I was planning of actually starting that channel officially next week. But, so this video here feels like the wrong channel now. But I feel like this is such a big thing, right? This is ridiculous, right? This is ridiculous. Someone just tried to assassinate Donald Trump. Like this is how insane it is, right? And I feel that, whatever, this is on the wrong channel, I kind of feel now, but like we have to talk about it because this is a crazy thing, right? Because I don't want to correlate and equalize stuff here now, but I was thinking otherwise today of making a video on this channel then, for this channel, the nerdy channel, like gaming stuff and so on, about Assassin's Creed, right? Because Assassin's Creed now has done the whole Yasuke thing, you know, and it's woke or whatever, but also now stolen, apparently, the design of my boy Zoro, right? They've stolen literally this sword from One Piece now and put it in Assassin's Creed, yeah, and it's crazy. So, and also stolen Zoro's home village emblems, like the double sword, crossing sword, and so on. So, you know, I am not trying, right, to equalize the whole thing with like Trump and woke and this thing and gaming and whatever, and anime and so on. But I guess we have a point before you come into this thing and watch the natural reaction. This is not how you solve this thing. But you have this massive polarization, right? This massive, you know, left and right, whatever, right? Massively pulling it from each other, right? And honestly, I'm not trying to like make it the same thing here that Trump tried to kill someone, right? But the way I look at, for example, then my other video that I'm skipping now, then maybe next week, then about Yasuke, right, is that the whole Yasuke thing, people are going to like Wikipedia, editing, changing, he was samurai or whatever. That's like a massive cultural itself, right? And what you see there, basically, my point of that, is that some people are just crazy, right? Some people are just really, really crazy, and they can't handle basic facts or reality, right? And that kind of brings to Trump, right? Some people are just crazy, and now then, they're obviously seeing how Biden is completely zombified, right? Everyone is in that, even his own people is in that, right? And they were obviously, these crazy people, right, they're trying to then take out Trump, because they know that Trump very likely will beat Biden, right? Not necessarily because Trump is a great person or whatever, a great pick, more that Biden is a terrible pick because, you know, Biden can't barely speak anymore. Honestly, I don't think that's really controversial to say anymore, right? That Biden, maybe he doesn't have all the horses up there, right? But my main point here, long intro, but my main point is that not only are the craziest going crazy, right? But it's also a counterproductive strategy, because if they actually manage to kill Trump, you know, I don't think that Biden would have won because of that reason. I think they probably will lose even more on that. Democrats will probably just have less impact. But anyway, I think we're gonna see it here. Obviously, I'm censoring a bit. I just wanna see when it happens. I haven't seen it yet, and you know, I wanna break some YouTube. Because here Trump's giving a speech.
Take a look at what happened.
Pennsylvania. You hear it now. Yeah, everyone's jumping down. Yeah, people are jumping over Trump. You really hear it. Not that dangerous though. You can see it wasn't hit though, really. Man, yeah. My God, you could really hear. You could see him getting up though. We'll come into later here. But first of all, we need to back a little bit here. I think that what is really scary, and I've been at, you know, civil tradition in my own life, not as a politician, but you know, and it's it's a sound, right? Yeah, you can hear it a lot here, and this is crazy because it is really close to hitting him. Yeah, I mean he kind of gets grazed by it, right? So Trump gets grazed by it. He's clearly like it's a flesh wound. He's clearly fine. I see some more image before I start the video here when he's a little bit like, you know, tomato juice, but it's not really that bad. So you can see it here that he's very like, yeah, he's grazed him, right? But I think really it's the effect of the sound that makes it really scary. And of course, you see everyone behind Trump, of course, jumping down, right? You see it now, yeah, it's like a lot of. So they're really trying, though. Honestly, yeah, that's really hard to watch. And I'm trying not to make a joke for some reason. I was trying to make a joke about everything, but not to be that guy, but I have to say that the actual person doing it is pretty bad shot, right? It does come off as the actual person doing it is like a really bad shot because yeah, I mean, like I said, the sound effect is really big there, right? They keep they shoot like yeah, there's like the whole magazine. It's probably like a handgun, something like that, or given how the so people didn't know it, right? I'm a weapon expert in more so more advanced weapons than the handguns, but clearly I would say that's probably some kind of handgun because they're probably shooting the whole magazine at Trump without having and it's pretty slow fire rate, so it's probably like a basic kind of handgun you can smuggle in there, something like that, and really bad aiming at it, right? If you have to break it down in that sense. But honestly, that's hard to watch. Now we're gonna jump now to afterwards, and Trump's gonna look honestly pretty triumphant. And I also reason want to make the video here, guys, and this is very serious now, right? But I love doing actually the political editing, right? I worked with that a while. I mean, day trader for many years or more, right? And I was what I mean here, but obviously, I would say this is gonna benefit Trump massively. I mean, look at the image, right? Trump is gonna win the election now. I mean, I said that in back in 2014. I was very, very, I was very good, honestly, on predicting Trump was gonna win so early, and I bet a lot of money on that. So actually, my biggest bet has never been actually my stock gains. It's actually been when I bet that Trump's gonna win 16, actually. So I'm pretty good when it comes to this analytics. I also think gonna lose in 2020, right? But so how can I say? I really did think that Trump has a higher chance of winning in this year than 2024. Before this thing, look at this thing now. This man's gonna win this shit right now. I mean, Jesus Christ, man! Like the guy survives an attempt, right? That gives you better rating, right? Because people are gonna sympathize with what he's doing, obviously. And this is honestly an amazing image. Honestly, I mean, no matter if you vote for Trump or Biden, or if you're left or right, if you're vote or whatever, right? You have to use meet reality. This is a great image of the president, former president, perhaps new president, the American flag being like, "Whoa, America!" Being triumphant, surviving it. I think this is gonna really skyrocket his chance to win even more. And again, I think he had a better chance of winning than Biden even before this thing, right? So I really think Trump's gonna win now. This looks like a slam dunk in that way, right? Absolutely. And I probably would sell my green stocks if it's a stock. This is not a stock video now, but seriously, it seems like I would guess that the market will definitely. You will definitely. Okay, I'm predicting here. Today is Saturday, Sunday, right? Depending where you live, and I'm gonna predict that the market on Monday, the stock market, the global market, is gonna be affected by this thing. I mean, it's gonna be an effect. So you probably will see having green stock going down because green stock was up with Biden. So I would guess that green stock goes down now because everyone's gonna believe that Trump's gonna win even more so than they already did, right? Because stock market tries to to guess how it's gonna go, right, in the future to bet in him. So that's a good example of it. I think we're gonna see this affect even more now because yeah, this is just massive. The whole thing is massive. But I also want to bring this actual scene up here that this will obviously like benefit Trump, right? Like massively. This looks just a fantastic image for him, so that increases his chance of winning. Now, I want to talk a little bit of psychology here, right? Like I said earlier in the video, guys, I hope you guys subscribe to that button. I was thinking of making a new channel, maybe only focus on stuff like this, right? Now, of course, probably less dramatic than actual someone trying to go for president, right? That's a little less than normal. But my point is that how to say it? I love to analyze stuff, right? So I do for a living a lot. So I have a lot of opinions, so to speak, about this stuff, right? But what would I say here? Well, I still want to come back to what I said earlier, right? And this makes me sad in a way, right? In a lot of ways, honestly, because this still is the whole, essence of polarization, right? Like I mentioned earlier, right? This is the sense of that people feel like, I have to try to kill the other guy because we can't defeat him in an actual argument or whatever, right? It's like the ultimate, people that can't handle you defeating them on Twitter. Yeah, I'm gonna come and shoot at you and say dox you, whatever, right? In that sense, but it really is. I mean, of course, the person doing it is probably some crazy person on the left, right? But the thing is that, and I think one thing immediately is that you can go on the internet right now and you're gonna see people celebrate this thing. Right? I mean, like, or celebrate that, oh, he should have hit, that they're gonna be disappointed he didn't hit them, right? That's unacceptable. It's very polarizing, right? Just like I see people with Israel and Hamas, so yeah, people are celebrating it with it. That's bad, right? But what I find interesting from these kind of things, honestly, having been behavior scientist many years, having worked with, for example, anti-terrorism and so on, but let's not go into it too much here. But having worked with trying to analyze the criminal mind or the terror mind and so on for many years of my life, it's. I have to say, I always find these things so weird and sad because it's just like, it's for me so hard to grasp why anyone thinks they will be, positive for your cause, right? It's kind of similar to this just stop oil or other kind of green activism in the latest years in Europe, mostly, also in America, but mostly Europe, right, in the latest year, where, they attacked the Stonehenge last month, right, like a few years ago. They destroying paintings, they're throwing oil at these old paintings and so on, right? Sometimes they are protected, sometimes not, right? But of course, what that leads to is that everyone just hates them, right, And the whole idea that, this just like brings attention to our cause is complete nonsense, right? It's complete nonsense, because bringing attention to your cause doesn't mean people agree with your cause, right? So most of these like stop oil and so on, what they mostly do is just that people just hate them, and they will actually actively dislike their cause, right? Because it's what to ruin them, right? Trump thing here is the same thing, honestly, in a mental standpoint, right? Because people here, if they have actually managed to assassinate Trump, they would have just made more people on the right dislike them more. Right? They would just make the left look even worse, and all the people on the left will go away from them. So honestly, if Trump had died, I think his chance probably would be increasing. I mean, whoever would be the new Republican candidate would actually, honestly, probably have a big chance of winning, because there would be like the massive martyr. Trump would be a martyr, would be a sympathy votes would be much higher. So I think, honestly, I find that's a weird psychology effect, right, on people in a sense, because it really is like, this is like incredibly counterproductive thing, right? So I'm not trying to take sides here. I'm not trying to be like pro-Trump or pro-Biden. I'm just saying that doing this kind of stuff is so stupid, because it basically always leads to the guy being attacked. That side has gains from it, right? Because even if the person you attack would sort of be taken out, there's more people on his side, right? And they would have the advantage then, right? Or at least a bonus for that. So it's like, I don't think any time in history has this been like a good cause for your thing. Attacking the other political in this way. No, I don't. Give me an example, honestly, because every time this happens, and I mean when it's successful, I don't mean when it's failing. I mean when they actually manage to do it. I don't think it ever really leads to them gaining an advantage, right? The probably most famous case would be the Sarajevo, of course, when they shot the Prince Ferdinand, and it started World War I, right? Which of course cost massive thing, but that did not really lead to their rebellion. They did that because they wanted to have, a separated movement. They wanted to have independency. That did not really go that well at all. Now we could have the president today, but I guess you could argue that starting World War I led to World War II, and after World War II they could have independency eventually, because the country kind of collapsed a little bit. I guess you could really push it if you want to, right? But no, usually this case just leads to that people will come after you harder. Another example of it when it comes to terrorism is the Sun cult in Japan, right? So you have this very classic case of the Sun cult, Ayum Surak, where they attacked the Tokyo subway system, right? With sarin gas. It's a very, very, very famous case. It's probably honestly the most famous subway terrorism. But anyway, the reason they did that primarily was because they knew that actually that the Japanese government, like the cops or whatever, right, were trying to investigate them. So because they had killed people before that. One sarin gas against like a house thing, when they also killed people in surrounding areas, and they had gone after like also an attorney. I think it was a lawyer that was trying to sue them. Yeah, I think it was a lawyer and so on. Stuff like that, right? So now they were assuming that, okay, so they have some insight on the cops. So, okay, they're coming after us. So then the idea was like, what if you attack the Japanese like subway system before that? That will distract them, and then they won't arrest or something. Like there was some really, really insane plan like that. Like if their plan honestly was that they're gonna like make this like smoke screen, right, with the screen attack, and then people are gonna be confused, and then again, then the government won't come after their like cult houses outside in the city. But of course, what happened immediately was that after they had helped people, right, from the actual attack, they went, and raided their house the next day, right? Yeah, so it was just like, it immediately made them taken out, and then they got death penalty, yeah, and then the leaders and so on got executed. So it wasn't really like, that's kind of what I mean, is like, oh yeah, what if we attack them first in this way? Yeah, that's gonna help a lot, right? And of course it didn't. It had opposite effect, right? If they had never done that, because like I said, they did it to defend themselves from the police and so on. Which again, I mean, I know it's crazy, but crazy people be crazy, right? If they never done that, it is not that sure they actually would have, for example, death penalty, right? They might go to jail and so on, for they were scamming people. They had this like cult, they were scamming them with finance and so on, right? But the chance that they would actually be death penalty would be much lower, right? So I feel the same thing here, right? And I'm sorry if this video is all, but I'm just being like, I don't know, I'm a little shocked here, I don't know. But the same thing here, right? I think this mentality is so dangerous, and it's so stupid, honestly, right? That's my professional opinion, right? It's so stupid, because this just leads to more people being crazy on the other side, This just leads to more people being crazy. But it also leads to your side just losing, like any political gain, right? It also the other side gets a massive advantage. And that's without Trump doing this kind of image. But I think this image here, again, is also a really, it looks really good, right, for him. Yeah, that looks fantastic for him. So I always find it interesting, and I think that the left, also the right, but to be fair, I think the left does it more though. I think that the left commonly does more counterproductive stuff like this, especially when it comes to like those green activism, which is that for example attacking nuclear power plants and so on, where nuclear power plant is the best thing for green energy. But yeah, so that's even worse. But what do you guys think, right? I think it's a very interesting case. I absolutely think Trump will win. I mean, I said earlier, I think he has a big chance of winning, even before this, and I think his chance of winning now is much higher. And I don't mean like 10,000. I mean, let's say it was 55-45 before this. Now it's like 60-40 or whatever, right? Like it sounds small, but it's getting quite. Yeah, like he's probably will get a few more percentage on surviving this thing. And yeah, that's gonna be a huge difference, right? Because that means that perhaps some swing states will then of course go to Trump, with Republicans, and so on, right? So I think this is a really crazy incident, really, and it obviously hit him slightly in his ear, yeah, like a little flesh wound. But otherwise, he looks perfectly fine, though. Honestly, yeah, he's probably shaken by it, but otherwise, he looks perfectly fine from like a physical standpoint. A little bit, But lastly, I'll say this thing here, subscribe, like, whatever that. No, but I'll say this thing here, guys. It's gonna be interesting seeing how people take this thing, right? I mentioned it briefly earlier, but it's gonna be really interesting, I feel so honestly, seeing how people are gonna react to it on media and so on. I mean, already, this just happened a few minutes ago, but already we're seeing people saying that, oh, why did they miss for? I would have hit and so on, right? So I think another thing that's gonna be really crazy is that, I mean, the left is already losing this election, right? Very likely so. This thing is obviously gonna make it worse for them. Yet they're gonna double down, they're gonna triple down. I mean, I'm guessing here, but I think it's very, very likely that a lot of people on the left are gonna triple, quadruple down on this thing, right? And be, all defending the shooter and so on, right? And that's gonna make them look even worse. That's gonna be interesting tomorrow, I feel, and so on the coming week, seeing how people are gonna like spin around 10,000, and to constantly double down on how this is like justified somehow for maybe maybe Israel or something, or it's gonna be crazy, yeah. Like, and that's something that I always bewilders me, why people can't see that maybe not defending the bad guys is a good thing to do. But what do you guys think? I think definitely the people are gonna hardcore, try to defend, justify this thing. And I'm gonna say with everyone. I was saying it's gonna be like a large, very clear people. Are gonna be very clear that they're actually justifying it, and it's kind of crazy, right? But anyway, hope you liked the video. different than I usually do. Next video will still probably be the Vistoria video. It's a new, like I said earlier, I am planning on making a new channel. I'm sitting this week, right, my free time, like designing how it looks and so on, picking a new name. It's gonna be, I have a really interesting name idea of it. There's a lore behind that name, which me and my mother talked about that stuff as a kid, so it has a little bit fun in my head of it. But I just felt this is so important, right? Like I mentioned earlier, it's so important. Like I said, I was planning on making that Yaska video, but this is obviously 10 times more interesting, right? Or at least more, actual, important for society. But that's honestly, I still come back to it, the Yaska video, while being that thing, like we're being way less, of course, important than this thing here. There's like a micro session of this thing, like, yeah, because that whole thing is very, very weird too. Where you see like Canadian people basically being racist towards Asian people and all this stuff, like it feels like a micro session of this thing, right? Or this or this kind of thing happening here, on the political scale, kind of affects people on the minor detail scale, right? To act out very weirdly, something like that. Anyway, guys, have a great day, and I'll see you.